Hi everyone, welcome back. We're doing another video. I'm actually talking about this. It was just on the bench as I set the camera up, so if you've not been following that build closely, go back and check the latest videos. We've been building a mad PDW based on the Dytac B15 receiver set. But today we're talking about the Tokyo Marui AKM, and you might find that mine looks a little bit bare at the moment because I'm working on more parts to offer to you guys. But most importantly, we're talking about the valve set. So here is the standard, you have to excuse how dirty my hands are at the moment. Here's a standard plastic valve from TM. These guns run hot, as in, too hot for fields out of the box. However, I do a set of 5 valves, and you might be wondering, well, there's only 4 there. And it's because the blue one is currently fitted inside the rifle. So I've been doing a lot of testing. Just doing some QC to make sure these are good to go before they get packed and shipped. They should be start getting packed today and shipping out tomorrow when this is recorded. So it'll be the previous day. But I just wanted to, there's many people going to ask me, well, what valve does what FPS? And it's a very, how long's a piece of string type of question, because everybody's set up different. Unless you're taking a bog standard Marui AKM out the box and fitting the same valves into the same guns, you're not going to get the same output. This is, of course, modified. We're running a longer barrel, so it's got a 9-ball rubber, which is going to be coming out soon. I'm going to be fitting a much better rubber with the Flamingo. I've been having some good results with that, but I've been swapping and changing because I'm making something for the hop-up. The barrel that I've put in my AKM is a 250mm in a barrel, so it's 50mm longer than the 200mm normal standard barrel that comes in the Marui AKM. So you get an extra 25% on the length. However, that works out. I might be wrong on that. So I've got a longer barrel. I'm also testing some really heavy BBs. So just as a baseline, because I know you're going to want to be having to give you some kind of information. So this gun set up as it is, I'm on a fresh can, a brand new can of Coleman propane. So it's fresh, as highly pressurized as it can be. I'm filling the mags up. It is very warm here at the moment. So today it's been about 20 degrees. So, we're just getting into summer. And the test that I did, I used the heaviest BB that I've got to hand at the moment, which is a 0.43. And the reason I've done that is because with the 4.3, they dual creep even more than, say, like a 0.3. But, if you've been paying attention to YouTubers, especially Kicking Mustangs, he's been running his AKM. And he's been hopping like 4.3s, 4.8s, whatever he was using, some really heavy BBs, out to 70+ meters. So the gun can hack it. It can hop them with the right hop rubber. I think he's using a Flamingo in his, which is what I'll be switching out to. So it can hop the heavy ammo and it can work with that. So why would we use anything lighter? Well, you kind of wouldn't. And if you're running 0.2s or 0.25 gram BBs, you're probably fine. But to get the most out of these rifles, you're going to want heavier BBs. So 250mm in a barrel, upgraded hot rubber, and fresh can of propane at 20 degrees. Probably a little bit warmer in this room compared to outside. And I'm running 0.43 gram BBs, which are Aries branded. But it's out the same factories as like BLS Taiwan. So now on the standard valve with the 4.3 and a longer barrel, let's get your notes here. On the standard valve, it was running at 1.8 joules. Yes, very warm. It's not that much using a 0.3, but if you're going to be using heavy ammo, you're going to want to know this. So standard valve, 1.8 joules. And then going, because the way the valves are set up is you've got them like this. So you've got blue, green, black, yellow, red. Red being the most powerful, blue being the least powerful. So on the blue one, with a 0.43, I was bang on 1 joule. So 1 joule of power, absolutely perfect. And that's what it's been designed for. The green, I was running about 1.1 joules. The black, I was running at 1.3 joules. The yellow, I was running at 1.5. And then the red, I was running at 1.6 to 1.7. I was starting to run out of gas in the mag. So 1.6, 1.5, 1.3, 1.1 joule, and then the blue one, which is in here at the moment, was running bang on 1 joule on a 0.43 gram BB. To give you a kind of idea of the joule creep difference between the BBs, I also chronoed on a 0.3 gram just with the blue one, which is why it's still in there. And on the blue valve with a 0.3 gram BB, I was running at 0.8 joules. So a little bit less. And that means that, you know, if I was running 0.3 gram BBs, I'd go to the green valve, which is the size that I was using in the last video that I did, which was running about, you know, 0.99 joules, or just under a joule. And that is how the cookie crumbles. So 1.8 joules I was getting on that on a 4.3. And then you go down the power lengths. Now, the reason why this product comes in a set, unlike any other out there, you get 5, is because everybody's setup is different. You know, especially like on a yellow with a 0.43, I was running 1.5 joules, which is perfect as a DMR. Let's say the rifle's locked to semi-auto. Also, you know, throughout Europe, power limits are different. In the US, power limits are different. So if you're fortunate to have, you know, a higher power limit compared, you know, with your country's guidelines, law, whatever you want to call it, you know, the valves are there for you. Gives you that adjustability. So there's, you know, step increments in the valves. So, you know, blue is the weakest, red is the strongest, and then you've got yellow, black, and green in the middle. And that's just because the colours that were available to me, I didn't really want to do one in white because it can't, you normally speak white gas or blue gas, you tend to get sort of like a lower power threshold. But blue, green for go, blue for cold, you know, as in you want to drop it down the most. I know I'm waffling on here. Yellow for a little bit more power, and red for the most. The black, you know, is very close to the original in colour. So you've been black, so it is a bit, you'll just have to remember that these two valves are not the same. But, you know, 1.3 joules with the black on 4.3. So you've got the 5 valves there. It's very easy to do. I managed to take this gun, in this setup, this is why it's naked, you know, pop in this, and I'll show you how it's done actually. So, you know, you pop the recoil spring out. I'm using a Bowmaster 130% spring. Take the magazine out as well. So you have your bolt out like this. You take a 3mm Allen key. What did I do with my 3mm Allen key? Be in here somewhere. Is that it? Yeah. So 3mm Allen key. In the front of the bolt here, just to the side, you've got a bolt. So you're just going to loosen that off. And these are quite long screws. The one at the front's a little bit harder to get to because you've got the bolt, the rest of the bolt in the way. So always, I would say, take out the front one first, which you'd have to do anyway, and you'll see why. So take out your front bolt, remove, put to one side, flip it over. You've got a bolt that's retained in the rear. So what you'll see is, as I wind that screw out, the bolt comes with it. And that's because the cap head part of the bolt has this little recess it sits in with the blowback unit. So once that's removed enough, a little bit more, it'll free up. And we can slide the assembly out. Just be very careful to hold it. You can pop this off first if you want to not have the spring jump out at you. Slide that bit off the back. You've got your nozzle spring on the top there. You take a small Phillips screwdriver. You've got one countersunk screw at the bottom here. You pull that screw out, remove the O-ring. That's just the roller off the top of the nozzle there. Once you remove that O-ring, you can pull the bottom of it from the back here. The whole thing slides out, and there is your valve. You'll take your valve, you'll go to the next one, let's say the green one for instance, pop the valve in. The tightly part coiled of the bit of the spring sits on the valve there. It's a perfect fit. Drop that in there. Once it's gone in like that, you know, you really can't go wrong. This back piece will sit the valve forward. You put your countersunk screw in. You don't have to go silly tightening this up just till it stops. Put your O-ring back on the back of the nozzle. Take your spring and your little spring guide stopper. And we're going to have to pop our roller. It's the first time that roller's popped out, to be honest. Put that back in there like that. Slide that in. And now what I do is I just put that slightly on the back there. And that holds the spring in place so it can't jump out at you. And then I put my finger on the front. I drag the spring back. You've got a little stopper on this piece here which sits in. Once that sits in, it'll hold the spring in place. The back part of the blowback unit sits into the front of the housing there so it can't sort of wiggle to one side. Make sure your screw is lined up on the back there, and then you just slide this home. It'll only go in so far. Make sure you hold it together, and then you tighten this bolt in. Tighten this bolt in all the way. Snug it down. Take your front one. This one's a bit more tricky because, like I say, the fake gas piston is in the way. So I'm just going to quickly rotate that back in. And we're going to take the Allen driver so we can torque it up. Slide that back into the gun. Put the spring back in. That slides into position and then you're good to go. And I would suggest, if you're swapping and changing them, how quick that was. I've just done like 6 valves in a matter of like 10-15 minutes when I was testing them. And then just run it like that, see if you need to go up or down in the valve size, and then you're good to go. So it took a little bit longer than expected. These are obviously manufactured in a type of laser sintering printing method, and we were just waiting on the yellow valves because the company that was manufacturing them had run out of the yellow dye and it just got delayed. So I had all 4 of the other valves. I was just waiting for the yellow ones, which obviously took a little bit longer. So they're all done now. I've packaged up, or will be packaging up, all the pre-orders, which will now be sent out over the next 2 days, tomorrow being Friday when this is recorded. So those will be sent out, and now they're in stock on the website, ready to order, ship worldwide. I send tons of stuff all over Europe and the US at the moment, all over the place, even like countries like Moldova, which, you know, border Ukraine, which I've had a couple of packages go to there. And madly enough, you know, I thought airsoft was completely banned in Australia, but we've had quite a few orders from Australia as well. So thanks for tuning into this video. If you're new to the channel and you've just found this through the search function on YouTube, that is the Jaeger Precision valve set for the Tokyo Marui AKM GBBR. If you are a retailer and you want to stock these because you're stocking the Marui AKMs, you can get in touch with me and I can sort trade pricing out for you. And we can also change the valves to whatever suits. So if you say, well, the green is about right, but I need one that's kind of in between the green and the blue, you know, sort of a midway, then I can get that sorted for you. So thanks for tuning into this video. And from me and Bench, as always, I'll see you in the next one.